पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी के प्लेसमेंट्स का कोई रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं, इसलिए टॉप कंपनीज की फर्स्ट चॉइस। आप तो समझ ही गए होंगे। Join Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat.
Today, we bring you a story that is not just about war, but about the people caught in the crossfire, about the hands that rush to save lives only to lose their own. March 23rd was supposed to be another day of service for 14 paramedics and rescue workers in Gaza. Men in uniform, not soldiers, but saviors, men who carried no weapons, only stretchers, bandages, and lots of hope. But that day, those rescuers became the ones who needed saving. It started like a regular day, an ambulance, a fire truck, all clearly marked, lights flashing, uniform glowing in the dark. They were part of the Palestine Red Crescent Society and the civil defense. Their mission? To rescue, to respond, to do what paramedics are trained to do, to help. But they never made it home. Israeli troops opened fire. Not once, not twice, but with a sustained and lethal assault. What happened next? According to autopsy reports obtained by the New York Times, it's devastating. 15 men were killed. 14 of them were rescue workers. One was a United Nations employee who was just passing by. Most of them died from gunshots to chest or head. Some were shot in the back. These were not random injuries. These were fatal, deliberate shots to the parts of the body where life ends quickly. Imagine that. Men wearing reflective rescue uniforms, stepping out of their ambulances, hands empty, and being shot point blank. Let's stop here. Let's think about who these men really were. They were not militants. They were not on the offensive. They were the ones who run into dangers when others run away. They were the ones who pulled out children from rubble, who carried the injured, who performed CPR on the roadside, who kept hope alive in a place overwhelmed by death. And now, they're gone. The autopsies were conducted between April 1 and April 5, over a week after the attack. The bodies had been left out in the open, decomposed, mutilated, some missing limbs. One man's body was severed from the pelvis down. Another showed signs, bruises, and marks on his wrists, suggesting his hands may have been tied. Was he restrained before he was shot brutally? We may never know, but the possibility alone should haunt us. What is clear though is this: the vehicles were marked, the uniforms were marked, the mission was humanitarian. And yet, ambulances were crushed, a fire truck was destroyed, even the UN vehicle was flattened and buried, yes, buried deep in ground. The soldiers did not just kill them, they buried their bodies in a mass grave and buried their vehicles too. Imagine the message that sends out, that even symbols of rescue, of life, are not spared at a time like this. At first, Israel said the men were advancing suspiciously. They claimed the vehicles had no lights. But video evidence right here proved otherwise. The lights were on, the sirens were flashing, the rescue workers were walking slowly, their reflective stripes were clearly visible in the dark. And so Israel changed its story. Then they claimed 9 of the victims were Hamas operatives. That number was later changed to 6. No names, no proof, no evidence provided. Only shifting stories and silence from Israel. International experts have called the attack what it appears to be, a war crime. Because in a war, even wars as brutal as this one, there are supposed to be lines. There are rules. And one of the oldest rules of war is this: you do not shoot the medics. But that line was crossed, trampled, and buried under the dust of Gaza. Dr. Ahmed Dhair, head of forensic medicine in Gaza, examined the bodies. He saw the wounds, the gunshots, the missing limbs, the signs of possible restraint. But even he admitted some of the injuries were so horrific, so decomposed, it was hard to tell how close the shooters had really been. Yet, the pattern was clear: head, chest, back, kill shots. The world may debate borders, it may argue over ceasefires and politics. But this story is about something deeper. It's about dignity, about humanity, about 14 men who didn't pick up a weapon but were targeted anyway. Their families now grieve with questions that have no answers. Why? Why the medics? Why the fire truck? Why the ones who came to help? In every war, there are moments that define its cruelty. This right here, this may be one of them. As investigations continue and headlines fade, we must not forget what happened on March 23rd. Because the truth is not just in the bullet wounds. It is in the silence left behind by sirens that will never sound again. This was not just an attack on 14 men. It was an attack on what it means to be a human. It was an attack on humanity.